Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed something absolutely special across the pond. Matthew Stafford just reminded the entire NFL why he's still one of the elite gunslingers in this league. And honestly, if you're not pumped about what we saw in London, you haven't been paying attention to what this Rams offense is capable of when everything clicks. This wasn't just a win. This was a statement, a masterclass, an absolute clinic in offensive football that should have every team in the NFC looking over their shoulders, wondering if Los Angeles is about to make another deep playoff run. Let's get right into it, because there's so much to unpack here. Stafford just made history, folks. 5 touchdown passes in an international game. That's never been done before. Never. This man just etched his name into the record books once again, proving that at this stage of his career, he's still got that ice in his vein and that laser-focused accuracy that makes defenses absolutely miserable. This is the same quarterback who led us to a Super Bowl champion, and performances like this remind us exactly why he's wearing the horns. The precision, the timing, the leadership, it was all on full display, and you could see that championship pedigree shining through every single snap. The stat line alone is enough to make you jump out of your seat. 21 completions on 33 attempts for 182 yards. But here's the kicker: 5 touchdowns with 0 interceptions and 0 sacks allowed. That's the kind of efficiency that wins championships. That's the kind of performance that gets you into the Hall of Fame. Stafford wasn't just playing well, he was playing perfect football when it mattered most. This is his 5th career game with 5 touchdown passes in a single regular season contest, and the last time he did it was way back in 2015 against the Eagles. That's nearly a decade ago, and he's still out here making it look easy. Now, let's talk about the distribution of those touchdowns, because this is where things get really exciting for the future of this Rams offense. 3 of those 5 scoring strikes went to none other than Davante Adams. Yes, that Davante Adams, the veteran wideout who's been an absolute game-changer since joining our squad. Adams hauled in 5 catches for 35 yards, but those 3 touchdowns tell you everything you need to know about the chemistry he's building with Stafford. This connection is becoming absolutely lethal, and defenses are going to have nightmares trying to figure out how to stop it. Adams knows how to get open, Stafford knows how to find him, and when you combine that experience and talent, you get touchdown. Simple as that. But here's what's even more exciting, and this is what should have Rams fans absolutely giddy about the future. 2 of those touchdown passes went to rookies. Terrence Ferguson and Konata Mumphy both found the end zone in London. These young guys are stepping up. They're making plays. They're showing that they belong on this stage, and they're giving Stafford even more weapons to work with. The depth of this receiving core is becoming genuinely scary for opposing defenses. You've got the veteran presence of Adams, you've got these hungry young rookies making plays, and suddenly this offense has layers upon layers of talent that can hurt you in multiple ways. This is exactly the kind of development we need to see as we push toward the playoff. The Rams came out of the gates, firing on all cylinders, a 21-0 halftime lead in London. Can you imagine being a Jaguars fan watching that first half? It was absolute domination. The offense was clicking, Stafford was dealing, the play calling was aggressive and intelligent, and everything was working exactly as designed. This is the kind of first half performance that sets the tone for an entire game, that breaks an opponent's will, that makes them realize they're simply outmatched. Los Angeles wasn't just winning. They were making a statement to the entire league that they're a force to be reckoned with. Now let's be real for a second. The second half wasn't as explosive offensively, and Jacksonville's defense did make some adjustments that slowed us down a bit. The Rams punted 4 times in the second half and ran only 13 plays, which obviously isn't ideal when you're trying to put a team away completely. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. The defense absolutely stepped up and refused to let Jacksonville back into this game. That's championship football right there. When one side of the ball isn't firing on all cylinders, the other side picks up the slack. That's complementary football. That's what winning teams do, and that's exactly what we saw from this Rams squad. Speaking of that defense, let's give them their flowers because they absolutely feasted on Trevor Lawrence and that Jaguars offensive line. 7 sacks. 7. Nate Landman and Byron Young each recorded 1.5 sacks, showing that this pass rush has multiple contributors who can get home. Lawrence was under pressure all day long, and you could see it affecting his decision-making and timing. When you can get to the quarterback like that, without having to blitz constant, you put yourself in position to win every single game. The defensive line was disrupted, the linebackers were flying around making plays, and the secondary was locked in coverage. This is the kind of defensive performance that can carry you deep into January and February. Lawrence finished 23 of 48 for 296 yards and a touchdown, but those numbers don't tell the whole story. He was constantly hurried, constantly under duress, and the Jaguars' offense just couldn't sustain drives when it mattered most. They had opportunities to get back in the game. They had chances to make it interesting, but the Rams' defense simply wouldn't allow it. Jacksonville had a 10-play, 53-yard drive that ended with an incompletion on 4th down, then another 7-play, 64-yard drive that also ended in a turnover on downs. Those are back-breaking stops. Those are momentum killers. And those are the kinds of defensive stands that define successful seasons. Travis Hunter did have a solid game for Jacksonville with 8 catches for 101 yards and a 34-yard touchdown reception late in the game. When the outcome was already decided, give credit where it's due. The rookie showed some flashes, but by that point, the game was essentially over. Stafford and Adams connected for their 3rd touchdown of the day, right after Hunter's score, putting an exclamation point on what was already a dominant victory. That's championship mentality right there, that killer instinct that says we're not letting up, we're not taking our foot off the gas, we're going to finish this game the right way. What makes this victory even more impressive is the location and circumstances. Playing in London always presents unique challenges. The travel, the time difference, the different atmosphere. But the Rams handled it like absolute professionals. They came prepared, they executed the game plan, and they never let the external factors become an excuse or a distraction. This is a mature team that knows how to handle adversity and how to perform on the big stage. Regardless of where that stage happens, be located. International games can be tricky, but Los Angeles made it look routine, and that speaks volumes about the culture and professionalism within this organization. The offensive line deserves massive credit for keeping Stafford completely clean throughout this entire game. 0 sacks allowed is an incredible achievement, especially in today's NFL, where pass rushers are more athletic and explosive than ever before. The big guys up front gave Stafford all day to throw, which allowed him to go through his progression, find the open receiver, and deliver accurate passes. You can have all the talent in the world at the skill position, but if your quarterback is constantly running for his life, none of it matters. The offensive line set the foundation for this offensive explosion, and they deserve recognition for their outstanding performance. Looking at the bigger picture, this is exactly the kind of performance that can galvanize a team and serve as a springboard for the rest of the season. Dominant victories like this build confidence. They create momentum. They make everyone in that locker room believe that something special is possible this year. The offense showed it can score in bunches. The defense showed it can shut down opposing offenses when needed. And the coaching staff showed it can put together a comprehensive game plan that works. All 3 phases came together in London, and that's an incredibly encouraging sign as we move forward. The chemistry between Stafford and his receivers is clearly developing nicely, and that's perhaps the most important takeaway from this game. Adams is settling in and becoming that number 1 option we all hoped he would be. The rookies are contributing and giving us depth, and Stafford is distributing the ball effectively to multiple targets. This isn't a one-dimensional offense that defenses can key in on. This is a multifaceted attack that can beat you in various ways. That versatility is what makes offenses truly dangerous, and what makes them sustainable throughout a long season and into the playoffs. The fact that Stafford accomplished this milestone in an international game makes it even more special. He's now the all-time leader in touchdown passes for any quarterback in an international series game, and that's a record that might stand for a very long time. These London games have become a regular part of the NFL schedule, and Stafford just claimed ownership of the record books for shows. Overseas performances It's another chapter in his already impressive career, another accomplishment that cements his legacy as one of the great quarterbacks of this generation. This Rams team is showing signs of being genuinely dangerous, and that should excite everyone who bleeds blue and gold. When your quarterback is playing at an elite level, when your defense is getting after the passer, when your young players are stepping up and contributing, you've got the ingredients for a special season. There are still challenges ahead. There are still tough opponents on the schedule, but performances like this one prove that Los Angeles has the talent and the coaching to compete with anyone in the league. The 35-7 final score tells you everything you need to know about how thoroughly the Rams controlled this game from start to finish. This wasn't a close game that came down to the wire. This wasn't a lucky win where a few bounces went our way. This was complete and total domination in every phase of the game. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, everything came together to produce a victory that should make the rest of the NFC take notice. The Rams are here, they're healthy, they're confident, and they're ready to make noise. If you love this Rams team and you want to stay updated on all the latest news, analysis, and breakdown, make sure you subscribe to our channel right now. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this recap, and if you're as excited as I am about what we just witnessed in London. Now here's my question for you in the comments. What impressed you more about this victory? A. Stafford's historic 5-touchdown performance, or B. The defense holding Jacksonville to just 7 points? Let me know your answer in the comments below.